What up, y'all? This is your man, Abuamerican. This is a video for the ladies. And this is a video about your inane nature in terms of your reproductive strategy called hypergamy. Now, what I want to talk about this is in relation to education and career. And although I'm not telling you to become an idiot or a brickhead, I do think you're doing things backwards, ladies. And I think what you should do is you should use the best of your reproductive years early on. So that means once you finish basic education, find a good guy with the help of another guy, preferably someone in your family, father, brother, whatnot. Get married and stay married to that guy. Don't think and feel you deserve better, which is what we're going to cover here with the coffee beans. And just stick it out. Because the reality is, and I know you're not going to want to hear this, and this is the biggest problem with talking to women, is you don't like to hear advice from men. It's so difficult giving women advice. You'd be surprised how many times I get messages from women who are 18, 19, and they think they have more information on life and relationships than me at 45. I mean, they swear up and down they know more than me. You're a very difficult lot to advise. So I'm going to try and do this here in terms of a visualization for you. Now, before we start, let's say purple here is, I was totally unprepared. It just popped in my head. Purple here is women. Silver here is men. Okay? Men, women. The available pool. Although I didn't count them, let's just say these are equal numbers, right? So how does hypergamy work? Hypergamy works that a woman at a particular economic, educational level wants to date or marry a man at that same level. Or she wants a man who is higher than her. He has more education. He has more money. He has more social status. Whatever it may be at that time that she finds to be, a valuable or attractive man, given her environment also. Because in some environments, strength and muscle are important. In another environment, social status is important. In another environment, almost all environments, economic resources are important, or access to resources in general, which can be translated into economic resources, are important. So she wants a man who's either equal to her or higher. Reset. Men. Men tend to marry and deal with women who are either equal to them or lower. He does not generally deal with women who are higher than him economically, financially, socially, or whatever else. He tends to deal with women who are either equal to him or slightly lesser and lower. Now, here's what happens when you, as a woman, enter into the financial education field and you complete your studies. You go up here. This is not the scale. So what happens is you now start looking for a man up here. Let's say this right here is the average. This is the average man. About right there. That's the average field of men. This is the high achieving men. You're up here with the high achieving men. So now you want a man who's here, or as you can see, he's off the charts. Well, let me see. Try and pull this down a little bit here so you can see it all. So you want men up here. But what happens is this. The vast majority of men are here. This is where the vast majority of men are. And they'll be good dudes. But since you're up here, you want a man who's up here and men who are up here. And although it's not the scale, this is generally what you're looking at. You're seeing a very few number of high achieving men. We'll put a little bit more up there for you. And then the vast majority of average men down here. So now as more women become educated, and as we know, women are completing university at a higher rate than men, and they're entering into the business world because of, different affirmative action fields and whatnot. They keep on piling up and piling up, and men generally are joining the field like this. And you women are joining the field of education and whatnot like this. We actually need more coffee beans because this is what's happening. So as time goes by and more women are completing higher education degrees and entering into the business world, this pool of women with high education is starting to make it look like this. And so we'll take some of this here since I added so many. And now the vast pool of men are here. A small pool of very high achieving men are here. Okay? And you women are here, and you all want this guy, and you all want this guy. These guys, what do they want? They want this. But you're here. Understand that education and status are not attraction markers for men. They are for you. Video was interrupted there. So I understand what you did. You went into college and university thinking, I'll find a high value man as a mate because I am now high value. I've come up here. That makes me high value in your attraction marker / ideology. And so you think you deserve the same as your level or better, because why else did you enter into that field if men don't find that attractive? It's what you find attractive. But you cannot become what you're attracted to. This is an edit in because I forgot this very important point at this. So it's going to sort of jump around here. This is part of the entire question of where have all the good men gone? And when you ask yourself this, understand what's happened. You were here on par with the vast pool of men who used to be good to you, friendly to you, because they wanted you and they wanted to be in a relationship with you. And so they treated you nicely. They were good. They were this, they were that. And this is the times when guys were all over you, when you were here. But as you moved up in education and career and that pool of men, changed, you started asking, where have all the good men gone? Because there's not a mass pool of men aiming to treat you well to get into your pants. Those small pool of men, they're aiming down here. And they're aiming like at this entire massive pool. So for you, the good men haven't gone anywhere. You've just gone up here and you no longer consider these men for relationships. Those men have never gone anywhere. They haven't left. It's just you've excluded them from the concept or the idea in your mind as available men for a relationship at this point. Here, they were like 100% like, oh yeah, I could deal with these dudes. I could I could have a relationship with these guys. But when you got up here, you completely excluded them from your dating pool. And now, because these men are excluded, you don't have a bunch of guys trying to get at you. It's these bunch of guys who are trying to get at, all of this. And they're available, the availability for these men, they don't have to put up with you. They don't have to put up with your equality, egalitarian relationship ideology. And so they seem like jerks because they can be jerks, because in his eyes, wow, this woman's really a jerk, And that's how you behave in his eyes. So he aims down here. They're seeing all the good guys because everybody, all of these men as a combined group, in this entire spectrum from the vast majority of average to the, half decent doing guys to the small pool of great guys, are all aiming for these women. And they're treating these women with an exceptional amount of deference and chivalry. You, on the other hand, are saying, where are all the good men gone? And this conversation gets bigger and bigger as more and more women enter into the field of education and business and whatever else. And so more of you are complaining about where are all the good men, because do you see what I'm saying? So I just needed to edit that in because I forgot that very important point. When you ask that question, you've excluded those good men from your dating pool. All right. When we see men becoming what they're attracted to, this is where you see those transgender guys wearing dresses. They're trying to be what they're attracted to. Because generally, what happens? They send these guys to female prisons, put them in female sports fields, whatnot, and then all of a sudden, all these women start getting pregnant and banged. Yeah, I wonder why that is. So, coming to men. Back to men. We explained this, but I'm going to break this down nice and easy, piece by piece. So now men here, it's happened conversely to you. What happens is the higher you go up as a lady, as a woman in education and business and whatever else, the smaller the field of men available to you, the smaller the pool of men, available men, in terms of what you think you deserve, the smaller it gets. And if you go even higher, let's say you're off the chart, that's this one being. That guy goes off the chart. So, for men, the opposite happens. The higher a man goes, the larger the available field and pool of women there are. Because now, everything is available to him. You want that man, and they want that man. And so to him, this entire field of women right here is available to him. For you, that's available. Now this is available to you, but you won't be happy with it. You won't be pleased with it. You'll think you can do better. You think you deserve better because you are better in your mind. But that's only in your mind because men aren't interested in whether or not you got a PhD. They'd rather know that you got a big butt and big boobs than know if you have a PhD. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to bang your PhD. He wants to bang you. Okay? You want access to resources and stability. So technically, you're kind of banging his PhD. Anyway, what do you think these guys here are going to go for? Someone who comes with an entitlement attitude that I deserve the best and I'm your equal and I'm this, that, the other, or a woman who's going to fawn over him because he is up here. If he's a movie star, if he's a doctor, if he's whatever else, she's going to look at him like, man, I scored. I got me a good one here. And you're going to be like, this is the status quo. We're on equal level. Now I want you to do dishes because we both work a high-playing, high-flying career. She doesn't have to work. He's a doctor. He's a PhD, whatever else. What's she going to do other than be a stay-at-home mom? The ones that you want to call a loser. So she's not going to come to him with that entitlement attitude. And if you understand anything about men, men prefer simplicity over complications. We will take the easiest route every time. So what do you think he's going to go for? The one who thinks she's his equal, and therefore he needs to have some sort of equanimity and egalitarian relationship? Or the one who's going to be like, no, I'll be a stay-at-home mom. I'll chill at home. I'm not going to complain. She'll eventually complain because that's the nature of women. We understand that as men, but her level of complaint is going to be down here. Yours is going to be up here. What do you think is going to happen? Why do you think you're having such a difficult time finding a man? So now let's reset this. So now we do it the opposite way. Here's this pool of men, high-flying men. It's very small. And this is not a guarantee, but we'll work with this. Now here you are. While you are in your youth and in your beauty, you haven't got wrinkles, you're still under 27, 28. You score the high-flying man with your youth and beauty. You get a relationship with him. Have some kids. And then later on, go into education and come up here. By then, this man has further developed himself economically, education, whatever else, and he's gone up. So now you're playing catch up. You're always going to be happy with the status of your man because you're always going to be slightly behind him. He's always going to be better than you in sense of economics, money, power, social ability, unless you make some crazy sort of jump out of the blue. And then hypergamy does a reset. This is where you want to get a divorce rape him, and think you can find a man up here after you've had kids. And if you think this guy up here is going to marry you, the PhD doctor billionaire with kids from another man in general, that's not going to happen because that's not how those guys operate. He's going to be looking at the 19-year-old down here who's looking to score, And this 57-year-old guy up here that's a multi-billionaire is going to be banging a 19-year-old from this pool down here. He's not going to be messing with you at 30-something with another guy's kids. That's not how billionaire men work. So, and that's why your women complain about those type of guys. Oh, there was perverts. No, they're not perverts. He's maximizing on his ability financially to score the best that he can. He's done that his entire life. Don't expect him to do otherwise now. So, start down here. Find a man maybe here, and if you're really good here. But understand that, actually, it's going to look more like this. There's going to be a larger pool of medium to well-to-do men and a very small pool of highly, well-paying men, well-paid men. Start with this pool right here, or aim for that one. But, hope you get something up here. This guy eventually is going to move up. Maybe he doesn't reach the high pool, but he'll end up somewhere here by the time he's in retirement age or whatever else. He's going to do well. Someone who's focused, directed, trying to get his stuff together, hasn't been damaged by divorce like a lot of guys have, and he's dealing with a lot of problems that, have come from relational problems. And then after you have your kids, go into education, get that degree or whatever else, and then grow with him. But you're always going to be behind him. So you're always going to be pleased with him. You see right there? Boom. Now, contrary to popular belief, men don't generally like to throw their women under the bus. They have a very strong sense of loyalty, and that's what men expect in return. And this is where a lot of problems come in, because hypergamy is loyal only to self. And men, well, we're more loyal to whatever we feel an affinity towards. And this is why we say men are the true romantics and women are relationship pragmatics, because hypergamy is pragmatic. Anyway, this is my coffee. Buy some. Check out 95 Wolves over on Instagram. You can find our coffee company. Anyway, I hope this helped with a visualization of what's happening here and why you're having a difficult time finding a good man, and why bum chicks tend to end up with this guy. You're like, how did she end up with that guy? Because she's down here and she doesn't have super high expectations of the women up here, the women you're being. Now, if you feel that you deserve better and you're going to get better or whatever else, then fine, go ahead. I'm not telling you to lower your standards, because if you're up here, you're up here. But I just want you to understand that you're going to be one of those 41-year-old high-powered career ladies that has cats and not kids, or a relationship that keeps you happy. This is why when we look at the studies of the 21st century, women's happiness index is plummeting and men's is staying relatively the same, because not much has changed for us. But for you, everything has changed. All of a sudden, in Western society, women are at an unprecedented level of success and education. And that's put you here at huge numbers. And in the past, it was the opposite. It was like this. There was a huge pool of successful men, or men who were at least making more than you. And those men chose from the entire pool of women down here. And the 21st century has done this. It's flipped it on its head. And so now old social contract no longer applies, and you're trying to hold men to a social contract that they can't possibly hold, because economically he's down here. He doesn't have the resources that you expect him to have, the average man, because you're up here. And there's only a small pool of men here. And those men, they want this vast pool of average women who are going to look up to him and fawn over him. And you know what he's going to get? Anyway, take it, leave it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a great number of women who contend with me on this, because that's what you do. You can't be taught, and you can't listen. You don't listen, the vast majority of you. And that's why I use beans as a visualization here, to keep it simple. The KISS principle that I learned in the military. Keep it simple and stupid. Agree, disagree, let me know in the comment sections and I'll shoot you down. Ladies, since this is one for you. Reverse your paradigm. Kids first, education later. And I guarantee you'll be happy for it. This is your man, Abuamerican. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all that. Abuamerican. I am out. Oh, yeah. 95 Wolves. Check it out on Instagram. You can buy some coffee from me. I'm out.